Denver Broncos just end the offseason with an absolute bang as we see more evidence that Shawn Payton is elite at what he does. He threads the needle absolutely perfect. We have more standouts from day 3 of mandatory OTAs. That and way more in this video. If you're new to the channel, I'm a diehard Denver Broncos fan named Ben. Helps me in the YouTube algorithm out a ton if you like the Broncos. If you would like and subscribe, we've got a ton to dive into. Just you look across the league and it is basically field day for elementary school kids today. In OTAs, there are so many times the NFL has just limited the amount of actual snaps that teams can do, and you just see teams across the league like phoning it in on this last day. It's what Nathaniel Hackett did. Shawn Payton calls these sugar days. So you see the New Orleans Saints canceled their last day of practice, even though we know they were a horrible team last year, and they're all mini golfing today instead. You see that the Raiders, I guess, have this giant ball, and they're like rolling it all over the place, and that just doesn't look like football whatsoever to me. Pete Carroll's an unserious coach, and you see him like just wrestling with players as they're stretching, and he's silly, and I think that works in like a college atmosphere. But man, at the age he is, like, whatever, we're not going to dog on the Raiders. What I love is that Shawn Payton has this team locked in, and he's coaching them extremely hard. And so you would think that like a coach who is on top of their players and not letting them do fun stuff like this and actually making them play in the Denver sun, they wouldn't like him, right? Yet Shawn Payton is unanimously loved. So how can you not do fun things but still have the players absolutely love you? Shawn Payton threads the needle perfectly through things like this. He has his players back. And so he is a field general and like a Dan Campbell, like, I'm going to be on top of you. But yet players love him because he has their back. So Devon Vele has missed all of OTAs. Nobody really knows why. And it's on all of the reporters to try to dig in and figure out why. Is there something going on with his family? Is he injured? What is going on with him? And you just see Shawn Payton has Devon Vele's back here and bites the head off of whoever it is asking him this.
You don't think it's going to keep him out like
No.
He's saying, hey, Devon Vele is going to be back, nothing to worry about. But the reporter continues and pushes.
It's going to be full go, start a training camp, everything's good. We should be, that's it. That's it. Did you hear me?
Okay.
That's it means. That means it stops.
So while my goal someday is grow this channel big enough that I can ask Shawn Payton a question, oh my goodness, I would just huddle up in a ball and cry if Shawn Payton talked to me like that. But that's why players go to war for him, and that's why he is unanimously loved by his players, that he pushes them hard, yet he has extremely high expectations for him. That is a very, very hard thing to do as a leader, and we are extremely lucky to have Shawn Payton. We just see the essence of what it takes to be a head coach. It is coaching your players hard and is giving them feedback as to what they're doing. Seeing former Denver Broncos safety Nick Ferguson talk about like the essence of being a great coach is your ability to teach every single position. Seeing Shawn Payton, like he's not, sitting over there chomping on gum, looking at a clipboard. He is out there in with the players, giving them specific feedback on what they do. It's how I know Mike Vrabel was good with the Tennessee Titans and why I know he's going to be good with the New England Patriots, because he is up and in that right there. Very different than like what a Ben Johnson or like a Mike McDonald with the Dolphins are doing. We truly are so lucky to have Shawn Payton, and he wasn't necessarily like my first coach that I wanted when the Broncos coaching search started, and I am so thankful to be wrong, because I truly think we have one of the best coaches in football, just looking at how engaged he is, how he's locked his players into and just milked every single bit of talent out of this team. And the other things that he's completely changed is the strength and conditioning approach. We've talked ad nauseum about how we're the most injured team in football to then being the most healthy team in football, but we are seeing more and more signs of that out of OTAs. So we heard Shawn Payton talk about one of the reasons they're not injured is because he's extended out the phase 1 of this offseason protocol all the way through today, and that they've prioritized lifting throughout that, getting players here as often as possible. We know Bo Nix didn't go to some house like in the South where he grew up. He stayed here and was lifting here. We see him just looking incredible. And they're not doing these weird field days and rolling around in giant balls or eating snow cones. They've practiced all the way through. And while today was a shorter practice, it was only because yesterday was a longer practice. They used every single ounce of what is allowed by the league union. And so they milked every bit out of that schedule that they could and took all the snaps that they could. And that's why our injuries are down. And we have some just incredible reports here. Like, this is what Bo Nix looked like coming to the Denver Broncos. Here was him at Auburn. And you just look at him now, like he's truly going for best biceps in Denver. I think he's added muscle. Then we heard today that also Troy Franklin has added, I think 5 pounds is what they're saying. Yet Troy Franklin is more explosive and 5 pounds thicker than he was last year. Just a fantastic report to hear Shawn Payton say, hey, you know who's going to jump off the page to you this year?
He's extremely explosive, and I think he's
extremely explosive, and he's added 5 pounds of muscle this offseason. Hearing more that we will have every single player other than A.T. Perry good to go for the start of training camp. All you got to do is look up a team in the NFL and look up their injuries at this time of the season, and you're hearing guys drop at Commanders practice. Guys, we heard yesterday Ben Johnson upset about Luther Burden not on the field. Hearing, just tons of people who are hurt going into the season or holding out going into the season. Shawn Payton has just done this absolutely perfectly, and he gives credit back to kind of being an old school coach, and it's incredible that he can be an old school coach and still be loved by the players like he is. Hearing that Bo Nix is the player who is just popping off at OTAs, and it's amazing that now OTAs are kind of boring because we don't have a quarterback competition to watch anymore because Bo Nix is just getting better and better, which is why our ceiling just continues to grow by the day. Shawn Payton came out today and just gushed about how far ahead he was of this time last year, and this is the first time we've heard Shawn Payton say that. We've heard all of Bo Nix's teammates say that, but now we heard Shawn Payton actually come out and say, like, hey, he's actually playing better and faster with more confidence, and he's added a ton of muscle. And I think he already had a way liver arm last year than any of us thought. We see zip on his pass that I still think was there last year, but adding that lower body and upper body muscle, even after the offseason surgeries he is one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the NFL last year, the most accurate quarterback in college football history. And it's just going to truly be a sight to behold this year. Now that he finally has tight end target right there, Evan Ingram, it's going to be incredible. So feeling very encouraged after OTAs. It's hard because it's not very typical that you hear of flameouts at OTAs, but every player you would hope to see pop off has popped off, and you're seeing Shawn Payton being very excited about it, which in turn should make us excited about it. Other thing is, like, this is not normal. Like, there are places where things are bad. One of them being Cincinnati. We talked about the other day. They have not only their best defensive player, but then the guy they drafted to be another great defensive player is holding out and has not practiced a single snap with the Cincinnati Bengals. And now we are hearing potential rumors that he might hold out the entire season rather than playing for the Cincinnati Bengals and re-enter the draft next year. Like, giving up a ton of money, obviously, to do that would just be the biggest indictment on the Cincinnati Bengals franchise that you could possibly have. And hearing Adam Schefter reporting on that this is just a very, very bad situation, and just another reason we should be really thankful to have Denver Broncos ownership group and Shawn Payton at the helm. Can you imagine how upset we would be if Jahdae Barron was like, yeah, I'm going to hold out this entire season, or even if he wasn't there for OTAs right now? I think we'd be furious that that's what the Broncos chose to do with the first-round draft pick, and the Bengals need defensive help more than anybody. And I love the fact that the Bengals have been without their 2 best defensive players all throughout OTAs, and we got to play them week 3 this year, and so that's just a great thing for us moving forward. So as we are hopping into the actual calm before the storm, it is going to be training camp in late July, like July 21st or 22nd. We haven't heard the exact dates. What kind of content y'all want me to be trying to put together on here? We might not have as much news as typically we do. There might be a couple more signings that we have, but very curious, what all would you like to see with the channel? Should I be doing some in-depth player reports? Somebody commented like, hey, do a deep dive on some of these players that we might not know a lot about. So I was thinking of doing like a episode on Devon Vele, doing a deep dive on him. Let me know in the comments what you'd like to see on this channel in this calm before the storm. Broncos are winning in 11 games at the minimum, and I think we're making a deep playoff run. Broncos Country, we've got so much to believe in.